Hi, Robert. It's really
What's
nice to meet you.
going on?
Thank you so very much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, a
Thanks
mutual
for
friend
having
of
me on.
ours,
I'm watching
mu-
X.
yeah, a
It's
mutual friend of
happening.
ours sent this to us, or sent this to me and wanted me to show it to you. I don't know if you remember Rick Siegel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Rick Siegel is a former boss of mentor of mine. I used to work at Chapters Online with him back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
I haven't talked to him in a long time.
Yeah, he says it's been a while. I
Yeah.
thought maybe we'd start today off with talking with a bit about OpenClaw.
Oh yeah.
And he sent me this warning, which I thought was pretty funny that I sent to you.
Yeah.
The
Don't
warning
run it
said,
on your main machine. It can erase every fucking thing. It can steal your bank account and it can answer your email and send your boss a naughty note.
yeah, steal all your crypto, steal all your bank account.
This is
I'm
why
the
you want to
opposite.
run it on a separate machine and be very careful about what you give it because it all has consequences. It's a
Right.
very powerful technology, and if you let it run with your email and your calendar and your bank account and all that, it might do something that hurts you.
So this is from Rick Siegel. The software is an autonomous AI agent framework capable of executing shell commands, modifying file systems, accessing networks, APIs, and cloud services. I thought it was really funny down at the end that I think he thinks that this should be a government warning slapped on the box if OpenClaw had a box. Assume all agents are curious toddlers with API keys. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. And they let you do things very quickly, like erase your entire hard drive.
Oh my god.
I've seen several people already get into trouble with Cloudbot because they put it on their wife's machine and they were fucking around. All of a sudden, they erased their whole wife's computer.
Oh my god. I was messing around with it a little bit, and I was getting it to build an app for me, and then thankfully, I was backing things up, but all of a sudden it said, "Hey, so I went ahead and deleted everything, and I don't know why I did that, but do you have a backup?"
No, you just erased all my Gmail. Wow, man.
I never gave it access to anything outside of itself just to build apps with it, but that's crazy.
It's a good warning to start this show. You know, we have developed very powerful, very easy to use technology that can get people into big trouble quick
Yeah, absolutely.
and build systems that can get you into little trouble that you don't even see, right?
Yeah, that's true. I think a lot of people aren't really sure what this whole AI thing is, and where it's going. And I think a lot of people don't, they're kind of a little bit short sighted. Like I've talked to my friends who are not very techy or somewhat techy, and I'm telling them, warning them about the future with AI and things like that. And they give me a little pat on the head and say, there, Keith. I use AI every day. I talk to GPT all the time. You don't know what you're talking about. It's fine. I'm like, that's not quite the AI I'm talking about, but yeah, sure.
No, people, most people haven't started really building agents or built using bleeding edge technology, right? Setting up their own Claude bot or OpenClaw, it's called now, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Like I think maybe 3 years ago was the first time I had tried to code with it. And when it actually did something, my world collapsed. I was like, oh my God, I could see exactly where this is going.
yeah.
Like we have AI now with maybe 150 IQ, maybe, if that.
It's just going to keep getting smarter.
Imagine 3 billion IQ. Like I
Well,
know you're,
it's not the IQ that matters, although it's the bleeding. I'm using cognitive architecture from Levangi Labs that enterprises are using, and it's way better than ChatGPT or Gemini or Anthropic Cloud or XAI's Grok or Perplexity or any of the others. Um, you know, it's getting pretty smart.
yeah,
But it's the fact that it can do a lot of things very quickly.
right.
Like it can read all of my X accounts. On my screens right now, I have 60 different lists of things happening all the time. I can't read them all. AI can,
Yeah.
and is very powerful technology to do that, because it can write you a report out of that in a minute or two, right?
Yeah. And it can sum it up all for you and be able to give you kind of a bird's eye view really quickly without you having to scan everything. Like, I know you're a big proponent of a virtual holodeck coming with AR glasses.
That's a different topic altogether. I should get my glasses out. Where are my glasses? There we go. I got some new glasses. Yeah.
Those are nice. Those are the ones that just give you like a little projection. Is that right?
Oh yeah, 50-inch screen over here, right?
Are those ones color or are those the monochrome?
Oh, yeah. Beautiful color screen, great for business travelers. So you got a big screen. You know, why are you watching a movie on your iPhone? Your iPhone has a little tiny screen, right? This screen is 20 times bigger than an iPhone screen, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And soon you're going to have everything. Glasses like this are about to change reality around you. You know, I mean, I have a Vision Pro, right? And the Vision Pro is a mind-blowing device because when you're inside of it, your mind thinks you're seeing reality. In fact, if I put it on right now, I would see you on my monitor in here, just like I'm seeing you with my naked eye. But I'm not seeing you at all.
Yeah.
I'm seeing TV screens. I'm watching TV, but it's so good that your mind thinks you're seeing reality.
Yeah.
But now inside of here is a holodeck. Everything I'm seeing is a little tiny voxel, volumetric pixel. And we can change any one of those pixels to something else.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I thought I've been developing VR since like DK2 days with the Oculus, and you know, I've got the Quest and all that stuff and mess around with a lot. But I thought people were having a hard time adopting it just because it closes you off so much from the world, and this big clunky
heavy.
headset.
Let's be honest, it's heavy. That's why, you know, these kind of devices, these aren't very heavy. Much easier to put on and off. You know, they look sort of like a pair of glasses, right?
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, they're a little dorkier than my regular glasses, and there's certainly something on my face that's between you and me, but I can see you still, right?
And eventually those will be a contact lens.
I mean, eventually you're just going to get a brain-computer interface on it, and it'll just shove this new reality into your brain.
So what happens when AI's got like a 3 billion IQ and it's able to manufacture and manipulate the molecular structure of the universe? You want a Lamborghini, it just turns the air into a Lamborghini for you.
Yeah, that's a little the real Star Trek holodeck, where it can create physical things. That's a little down the street. That's a little.
Is it though? Is it with the exponential curve of AI? I mean, I don't feel like a lot of this stuff is that far in the future. Once we get AGI, I think about 30 nanoseconds later, you got SGI.
You can 3D print a lot of things, including cell level, you know, very small things. There's a company here who developed a 3D printer to build cell-sized structures, and then it grows stem cells on them and grows a new human organ out of them. Even they are still, it's still a few years before that really gets perfected to where you can go and get a new kidney with this technique, right?
Right.
But we, you know, physical things, there's limits to the world. At least, you know, but that's not the point. This technology makes a digital twin of the real world, and then we can mess with the digital twin.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to communicate. When you're wearing a Vision Pro, you're seeing what you think is reality, but you're not seeing reality at all.
Right.
You have a digital reality that you can change. You can put a monitor right here in the air, right?
Yeah.
Everything is a volumetric pixel. And that world is closer. That world is going to radically change over the next 2 years. The physical 3D printed world where you can 3D print a car, that's further.
Maybe.
No, that's further.
How much? So how much further do you
3D
think?
printing companies. There's limitations to what you can 3D print. And a 3D, you can print metal, yes. You can print circuit boards, yes. But you can't put it all together in one.
How long do you think it would take for us to be in the future? How far in the future do you think something like that is? I mean, if we're already talking about AI with quantum computing, I'm surprised we're not getting beings from other dimensions coming in here going, whoa, 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 what are you guys doing?
The thing, it's not going to arrive on one day. You're going to get a printer that does this, then a printer that does this, and then a printer that does this, and then a printer that does this. And you can, like I said, you can print circuit boards, you can print metal, you can print plastics, you can print perfumes, you can print all sorts of stuff with a 3D printer. It's a cooking world. 15 years from now, we might have 3D printers that do a lot of things. But
3D printers we already have 3D printers that print other 3D printers. That's pretty much the whole idea behind RepRap, right?
Okay. There's some limitations to those 3D printers, but yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Where do you think AI's headed then? How
better.
long?
I mean, when I first saw 3D printers, it could only do a cheap plastic part. Now it can do jet engine parts and all sorts of stuff. So, we're getting there.
Yeah.
But all those 3D printers are going to be controlled by people wearing glasses.
Yeah.
Because you're going to design something in virtual space with your fingers or with your mind, and then hit print.
Yeah.
And send it off to some service bureau that has 50 different kinds of 3D printers, and it'll come back in an hour on your robotaxi, right?
Yeah.
Your autonomous car, which is, there's not many autonomous cars on my street yet.
How fast do you think AI is going to start changing things so dramatically that the average person's going to start finally seeing it?
I think when Apple comes out with a pair of glasses that's cool, that's when they all get what we all are using right now. Right?
Yeah.
But even then, how many people have an OpenClaw running on a Mac Mini today that didn't even think about such a thing 2 months ago, right?
Right.
The world is shifting. And we're getting world models that most people didn't even know about 3 months ago, right? That can build real-time TV for you.
Yeah.
Most people haven't even considered most people don't even know what that is, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty much create apps on demand now. If I have a bunch of files I need to edit, I just go in and get Codex to whip up a new Python script for me. I need these 10,000 files to be able to all change the naming conventions, change the sizes.
I built a whole front end for X out of my lists on Sunday, and I didn't even tell it to do any code. I just told it what I wanted. Hey, Can you read my list? Can you do this? Can you write a report? Can you build a user interface? Can you build me a web page that has all those reports on it? Oh yeah, that looks cool. Hey, can you add a button for all the Claude people, the OpenClaw people, because they might want to have their OpenClaw come to this site and grab a report and take it back to their owner? Yeah, no problem. It added them, right? You just talk to it.
Yeah. Yeah,
You don't have to be a nerd anymore to write software.
I think that's what's surprising to my friends, because I had to come over and I have one person who's an electrician, and I'm just using, Windows H and talking to my computer the entire time. He thought that the prompts would be some big mysterious, the whole old, like, you're taking this role, I'm like, no, I just tell it what I want. I just talk to it now. Like, I don't, and he was blown away. Thought you had to be like an engineer to be able to talk to AI.
Yeah.
He was just blown away by the conversational nature of it. I'm just build me an app that does this, that, and that.
Yeah. We should talk about who I am, because your audience might not know who and what I've done, or why.
I mean,
why
to me, you're a legend. So
there's a bunch of young kids that have no idea what happened 20 years ago.
Okay, yeah, we can start there. How about we start with the 90s? In the 90s, I was
Let's start with the 70s. I was Apple's
70s.
first child laborer. I built Apple II motherboards in my mom's kitchen. When I
Okay.
was 13 years old. When the personal
Wow.
computer first came. Before I was 13, there was no personal computers. There was no technology in my house. We had a black and white TV and a rotary telephone.
Yeah.
The good old days.
Well, how did you get your hands on an Apple II back in the 70s?
My dad moved us to Cupertino, California in 1971. Apple started in 1976. And my mom got a job from Hildy Licht, who ran contract manufacturing system here in Silicon Valley. She hired housewives to build electronics at home. We built more than 1,000 motherboards in our house and washed them in our dishwasher, which gave me some skills of, number one, I fell in love with new things because here was, in the context of that day, there was no technology, that, I mean, here a guy gave me a business card that has a circuit board on it, right?
Yeah.
That's basically what an Apple II motherboard looked like. This was alien technology in that world. There was nothing like it that I had seen in my school or in my world. And I fell in love with the new thing. I was like, what the hell is this thing I'm putting parts into, right?
Yeah.
I learned to solder on Apple II motherboards.
That's crazy.
And that gave me a love of new things, which got me to study new things all my career. I met Steve Wozniak in a parking lot in community college in 1989, years later. Why? Because I built his motherboards. If I didn't build his motherboards, I wouldn't know who he was. Back then, there was no TikTok, no Instagram, no LinkedIn, no Twitter, no Facebook, no anything.
Yeah.
So people didn't know what he looked like. But he had a license plate on his car that said Woz, so I knew Woz built the motherboards I learned how to solder on, right? I wanted to meet him.
That's amazing.
And what the hell was he doing in a community college parking lot? I wanted to know. I was a journalism student. Well, I was trying to be a computer scientist back then, going to calculus class and stuff like that. But I eventually met up with him in the parking lot. It took me a few days to get there before he did.
Yeah.
Luckily, he's a nerd, so he parks, and he's a little autistic maybe. He parks in the same parking spot every morning at exactly the same time, it turns out. From then on, I would meet him in the parking lot.
That's hilarious.
7 in the morning.
So did you start going to school right then?
In the cafeteria. We were sitting in the cafeteria, and hundreds of people walking around all semester long. Maybe 5 people came up and said hi. Right? Most people didn't know what he looked like, didn't know that there was a co-founder of Apple sitting right in the middle of the school's cafeteria.
I was going to say a lot of people didn't know about Woz at all. You know, they were very much like Steve Jobs was the face, right?
Yeah. And that got me started on my path of studying people who make new things, interviewing them, and being attracted to technology and journalism and marketing all mixed together. Did that at college, I joined a little programming magazine that nobody knew about called Basic Pro out of college. And then Microsoft, 6 months later, released Visual Basic, which became the #1 way to program Windows apps for a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
And our little magazine went from 6 people to 200 in a few years. So that got me to understand the world of technology at a deeper level, because I had, Visual Basic was Microsoft's #1 tool, and met many programmers who were building with it, writing books, edited the magazine, wrote a column for them. And that got me into running conferences of them. And that's what got me into blogging in about 2000. And the blog is what made me popular.
Yeah. Was the blog before, like you were at Microsoft before that?
No, Microsoft happened after I started my blog. Microsoft made my blog bigger. but my blog was already a very important. Instantly, I found an audience of people who liked talking about new things. And there was
Scobleizer.
nobody else who did this in Silicon Valley. There was like 3 other people who did something like this, and none did it formally, of trying to interview programmers about what they were building, right?
Yeah.
And so I had, for a good long time, I had the only place to talk about startups in Silicon Valley, right? Which led me to launching TechCrunch. I was the first one to link to TechCrunch. I was the first one to link to Product Hunt. I was the first one to link to TechMeme. I was the first one. Siri was launched in my house. I had the first ride in the first AI Mercedes car. I had the first ride in the first Tesla with Elon Musk. And I could go on for hours about my firsts, because I had a famous blog, for a few other reasons. And I had one of the only places to launch companies. There was no Product Hunt back then. There was no TechCrunch.
So this is how you got access.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
that
pretty
got me
incredible.
the job at Microsoft. And then
Okay.
I became a public figure. I had a public face in front of Microsoft. I was in the Economist magazine. I was on press all over the place.
I remember.
Strategist at Microsoft, right? And yeah, that took me up, and now I'm just trying to figure it all out, because the AI world we're in an exponentially growing world. I mean, I have 7,900 companies on my X lists on X, all AI companies.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's crazy. I mean, you probably experienced this at a 10 times fold, 100 times fold than I did. But growing up, in the 90s in tech, I always was used to kind of being, 100 steps in front of everybody. I was, on the web when people were thinking that the web was a trend. I remember when I was at Chapters, one meeting we had with Rick Siegel, Rick was saying that people keep saying that the internet's a trend, but we have grandmas sending email. Things not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And today with AI, I'm always feeling like I'm behind. I'm like, something new came out today. Something new came out probably since we've started this conversation.
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm seeing 4 new tweets per second right now on just one of my 10 tabs, right?
Yeah.
It's
But it's amazing that somebody who's in the space like you, who's always so got their finger on the pulse, if we can feel even slightly behind in any way, I can't imagine what people who never keep up with this stuff at all must be feeling right now.
Well, they might be sticking their head in the sand and watching Fox News.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
They don't even know. They don't even know what's going on. They're going to know when a robot walks up to them someday in a shopping mall, right? And or they might know when they get a ride in an autonomous car soon. That's going to happen for a lot of people over the next 3 years.
Do you think we're going to get the fleets of Optimi, as Elon calls them? His group of optimists?
Oh, yeah.
He calls them Optimi?
11 million a year some year. He says 2 years. He starts up the factory. It might be 3, it might be 4, but it's coming. And he's not alone. There's Figure and 1X Tech and Foundation, and that's just in America. Over in China, they have 100 different humanoid robot companies, and the big one is Unitree, right?
Yeah. So what were you doing then in the 90s during the internet boom, once we finally had Web 1.1?
I was working at a computer programming magazine and running an online a CompuServe forum for them.
Okay.
And editing articles about how to program Windows apps.
Yeah. Were you actually
once-
writing the apps in the magazine so people could just
I was
copy?
editing them. I would edit them for English, and I would test the code to make sure it ran. So the author would, like Dan Appleman, would send me an article with code, and I'd run the code to make sure it ran, make sure an idiot could run it, right?
Yeah.
Because I was the idiot.
I wouldn't call you an idiot, that's for sure.
Well, I'm not I don't program, right? So but I figured out how to run an IDE, how to run Visual Basic, how to copy and paste and hit play and see if it all ran the way he said it would run, right?
Yeah.
And if it didn't, I'd call him up and go, hey, I can't get this to run. He would, oh, you found a bug. I was
hilarious.
also beta testing back then for Adobe. I was the #1 beta tester for Adobe Acrobat 1.0. Reported more bugs in that than anybody else. Because why? Because I had laid out the magazine. I also did graphic design and had a lot of skills with Aldus PageMaker.
PageMaker.
Adobe InDesign.
InDesign, yeah.
Yeah, way to lay out magazine articles. So we had 1,000 files of magazine articles that published our magazine. They had a lot of graphics in them. And so I found a lot of bugs because I had fairly complex documents, and when you fed them into a PDF writer, it would often break. I'd have
Were you a ready, set, go dude back in the Mac days? I think that was the desktop publishing I used.
No, I used Quark Express and all this PageMaker back in the day. Our magazine chose PageMaker to do that, and then at San Jose State, I was a journalism student, so I learned newspaper design and learned how to use Quark Express and do desktop publishing and stuff like that. Yeah, I used Ready, Set, Go a little bit, but I had more powerful tools.
Yeah.
And I knew how to use them, so I didn't get attracted to that.
What were you doing around like 2000, 2003-ish? Because that was like a time when all of a sudden all the investors started pulling out and everything started crashing and people started freaking out.
In 2000, I was running a Builder.com web conference for the magazine I was working for. We subcontract to CNET to run their conference, their programmer conference. And two of the speakers, first of all, I went from 60 sponsors in 1999 in December to 2 in 2000.
Wow.
So I still had a job, but it was clear this was going to be a painful downturn. And two of the speakers got me into blogging in December 2000, when there was only a few blogs, right? Fewer than 200 that I could find on that. The new, back then, Google, right? Google came out in 1998. And it turned out blogging... Google was a disruptive technology on search, right? Before 1998, everybody used Alta Vista or
web crawler, else, open text.
Yeah. Alta Vista was the dramatic one that everybody used.
Or Yahoo.
Yahoo, right?
Everyone thought Yahoo was going to rule the world.
Yeah, until Google came along. Oh shit! Yeah. I still remember the pitch for Larry and Sergey, who came to the magazine and pitched us on Google back in the early days. Just try your favorite search. Well, I ran a Microsoft Net Meeting website back in 1998, so I was like, okay, Microsoft Net Meeting was my first search, and I was like, how did you get rid of the porn? Because on Alta Vista. My site was #1, a porn site was #2, and my friend Brian Sullivan had a net meeting site. He was #3. And on Google, it was me #1 and him #2, and there was no porn. I was like, how do you get rid of the porn? And it was like, well, we don't use metadata like Alta Vista does to rank our results. We use links. And it turned out that was what caused blogging to happen. Because... as Google got bigger and bigger and bigger, more and more important over the next 3, 4, or 5 years, the bloggers were all linking to each other. In fact, my publisher at our magazine said, never link off site. We want the customer to be like a roach. It comes in, it doesn't leave.
Yeah.
In other words, link to other things on your site, but don't link them off and tell them to leave, right? And the bloggers didn't have that approach for a couple of foundational reasons. Dave Weiner had a ping server that all the blogs pinged and said, hey, I just published something. here's a link. And
Yeah.
so I watched Dave Weiner work, and he was watching that ping server all day long and clicking on all the links and reading everybody's posts. It's sort of like what I'm doing with X right now, and checking them out. Also, all the blogging tools had a ping server of their own. So if you linked to my blog, I would see it in my refer log, right? And I would see a link to you, click on your link, see what you just wrote about me, which caused us all to link to each other because that's how we had something to say. Hey, Dave Weiner just wrote about this today. Here's a link. Here's a link to his blog, and here's what I think about what he just said, right? And so we started linking to each other, and that made all the blogs go up the Google result page because we had a lot of links to each other.
Yeah.
And that became more and more important, and that around 2003, 4, 5, you saw TechCrunch started and Product Hunt and Huffington Post and Gizmodo and Gadget, a whole bunch of famous
Wired.
Wired came, but Wired was a physical magazine that was popular because it was well designed paper magazine. I'm talking about online new things that came out in the 2003 through 6. There was a lot of things that now are big brands, right? Media companies. And that happened because of Google, because of links. And the bloggers changed the philosophy. And now it's, if you only link to yourself, you're stupid, right?
Yeah.
You should be linking out to everything that moves about what you're talking about. Treat your users, like adults and say, hey, here's a lot of cool things to look at. That gets the users to come back, right?
Right.
See more things to check out, right?
Yeah, it was definitely a revolution. I mean, back, like you said, back when I was first on the internet, it was pretty much porn and government secrets and how to make the internet. That was about it. That was on there.
And nerds talking about programming, and a few sports, and a few things here and there. And Gadget started, talked about gadgets, and Huffington Post was talking about politics and culture, stuff like that.
Yeah. But then I think the real game changer.
That was the early to mid 2000s, and when I eventually got a job in 2001. When did I start working for Dave Weiner? It was after I started my blog. Because starting my blog, I saw, oh shit, this company, this new idea of blogging is really cool. I want to work for Dave Weiner, who built the ping server and built RSS and built the blogging system. And I was a competitor of a guy named Evan Williams, who started Blogger, right? And Evan Williams went on later to start Twitter, which now is X. But
yeah, iconic.
Yeah. So I worked for Dave Weiner for a couple of years until we ran out of cash in 2002, March 2002. So I worked there for a year, I think.
Was that just because of the generalized pop, the big bubble?
There was just no money. Nobody had jobs. Even Evan Williams laid off. I had a social media dinner in like 2001 and invited all these people who built these early social media sites. And he had just laid off his employees. He was begging his readers for money to keep his servers up and running, right? And there just was no money. There was no sponsors. People were, the valley was closed down. There was no traffic on the freeway back then, right?
Do you think they were just too early?
No, it just the money disappeared because the web got overhyped in 1999, right? Everybody was doing cocaine and rolling it in dough, and the hype got ahead of where it was. So yeah, it was too early. The
and people were getting paid in stock options for everything, and
yeah.
So nobody was making any money.
It's sort of like the AI world right now. It's a little hypey. There's a lot of money, right? And when the money dries up, and the money dries up because the market window closes, and everybody starts pulling money out, not investing anymore because they're covering their debts. I mean, it's the crash started in March of 2000, right? And it started by Microsoft stock taking a big hit, like it did last week, right?
Yeah.
And that caused the whole market to pull money out because all of a sudden people were having to cover positions and stuff like that.
And panicking.
And that got everybody to be very conservative with their dollars. Like I said, my conference went from 60 sponsors to 2 in less than a year, right? And so marketing got cut back and people started cutting back because shit was happening, right?
Right.
And it took years for it to come back, right?
When do you think it
Amazon
finally
in
stabilized?
1999 was $112. In 2001, it was $6, and everything else was going bankrupt.
Yeah. When do you think it finally stabilized?
2004, 5, 6, 7, right? It just got better and better and better again. But it took a while. It took a while for Amazon to go back to $112.
Yeah.
Now it's 3,000 or whatever it is,
Yeah. Yeah, early 2000s, I was a solopreneur doing web design for a living. And I was having a hard time convincing anybody they needed a website, even small businesses.
Yeah. Why do I need a website? I don't want. What? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I was confused by the question most of the time. I don't need a website. I'm like, what do you mean you don't need a website? Do you don't want to be found?
That's good enough. I do newspaper ads.
Do they even still make phone books? I don't even know.
I haven't seen one for a while.
Yeah. So what were you doing around
They used to leave them on your
2007?
drivay, right? A big stack.
Right.
And then
I actually delivered them for a little while.
And smaller and smaller. Now it doesn't even show up. You can probably go to the phonebook.com.
Yeah, exactly. So what were you doing around 2007-ish when the iPhone kind of revolutionized everything?
Well, in 2003 through 6, I was working at Microsoft as a public figure and doing a website called Channel 9. Then I left to run a small media startup called PodTech, which broke a lot of ground. It had Jeremiah Ouyang and Steve Gilmore and a whole bunch of interesting people were there. That lasted about 2 years, so 2006, 7, 8. Then I went to Fast Company magazine to run a TV show, a tech TV show that they had me do and edit their magazine. That lasted a year and a half or 2 years, something like that. And then I left and went to Rackspace.
Yeah.
For 7 years. So
that was
probably
been
in 2007. I was probably at PodTech.
So Rackspace, that was like a really fast company, right? Growing.
Yeah. Yeah, went public right before I joined them.
So how many people were there?
I did the last interview of the founding team right before they went public, and then a few months later I got hired by them.
And what was that experience like? Because it was a pretty big company.
Really interesting because I got to see an IPO up close.
Yeah.
And in fact, we're going to see some IPOs this year from OpenAI and SpaceX and stuff like that. Yeah, that was really interesting to watch a company grow that fast. They were in an old building. They had just bought a shopping mall and were tearing it apart for their new headquarters. They had fairly decent data centers, and they were growing that. It was fast growing times. And that I stayed there for 7 years and did pretty well.
That must have been a crazy experience.
Yeah, because got to watch this company grow from the inside, and got to watch the industry growing because they paid me to go and interview startups all over the place. And so I got into R&D labs and got to meet a lot of startup entrepreneurs and do a lot of videos. I had a studio in San Francisco where people would come and be on my show. Right?
Yeah.
And show me new things.
What's the first CES you ever went to?
I don't know. I went to 20. I've gone to 27 of them so far.
Yeah.
So, and I missed 9 years. So 37 years ago. 35 years ago. It's been a while.
Is that how you stay on? Is that how you stay on top of the technology so well?
That's one way, because like this year I went to CES and I met the CTO of Ambeek Micro, which makes little tiny AI computers for rings, watches, glasses, and soon robots. Have ability to run 200 million parameter little tiny models on your ring.
That's crazy.
While using very little power. And so getting into a suite like that tells you where things are going to go for a few years, right? And so I talked to him about, robot companies are building these hands and they have a lot of sensors. There was one at CES that had 1,000 sensors on each finger. I bet you need to run a little neural network in the middle of the hand on your chip, don't you? And he goes, oh yeah, sounds like you've been in our product meetings. We're planning out a whole series of things for that, right? It's like, that'll come out next year. So yeah,
what's the most fascinating thing you found at this year's CES?
The sharp hands that could deal cards out of a deck and play ping pong with you and fold paper, right? Highly dexterous hands.
Wow,
$50,000 for these robot hands.
Just
that
for
that was pretty cool.
They have to be better than just a dealer to be $50,000.
Well, the point is that it can do small, detailed things, right? And that's
what's going to be the application of that? Like chip manufacturers, like
anything you want a robot to do. Fold your laundry has to have dexterous hands, right?
Yeah,
picking up something. I mean, we all think about, we don't think about how complex our hands are at grasping things or doing things or sewing things or whatever. The hands that that are two grippers, they can do a certain amount of things, but they can't do a lot of things that these new hands can do. And the fact that it's $50,000 just means it doesn't have any scale. The first time I saw a color printer, it was $45,000 printer. Now a $79 printer is way better, right?
Yeah.
So the cost of these things will come down a lot.
Yeah, if there's demand. I find that a lot of humanoid style designs aren't really practical. Most of the times we design robots, they don't look anything like humans to accomplish a task.
Yeah.
A dishwasher doesn't have
seeing
hands.
A bunch. I bought a Neo from 1X Tech, and it looks like a human, acts like a human a little bit. So
yeah.
The robot industry is interesting. I've been visiting a lot of robot companies trying to figure out where the future of that's all going. And let's be honest, China has a lot of advantages over us.
Right. Just even with just
bigger
manufacturing.
Than New York, they have when you go to China and see how many factories, they have 1,000 for every one of ours.
Yeah.
And people in America who don't travel just have no idea what's coming.
Where do you think we're going to be a year from now?
A year?
Yeah.
You're going to see humanoid robots, both from China and America, start getting a lot more capable than they are today.
Do you think they'll be in the home at that point?
No. Everybody, even in China and here, says if you define it right, i.e., is your robot generalized? Can it walk down the street and do anything? That's 5 years away. And it also needs to be safe. Can't fall on a baby because a dog jumped on it, right?
Yeah.
We're not there yet. 5 years. But Next year, you're going to see a humanoid robot working in factories and doing a lot of things. That doesn't need to be generalized. It needs to be specific. Do one thing, sit on a manufacturing line, do your one job all day long, right? And you're going to see a lot of robots do that kind of thing this year. Certainly by the end of next year, you're going to see a lot of that.
Things like robot bartenders, chefs.
Bartender, it requires a little bit more generalization. So that's a little bit harder because it has to fit with... My brother owns 2 bars in Virginia, and we talk about this a lot. Has to fit in the bar with other humans. Can't just turn it in a robot bar. You could, but then that requires a huge capital expenditure and getting rid of the humans, right?
Yeah.
And having specialized robots. No. We want a generalized humanoid robot that can take over your shift. Jump in behind the bar just like you do and do the same thing. Well, we have to have a voice system that can talk to you. We need a generalized robot that can learn about the bar real quick, right? And every bar in the world is a little different because everybody puts the tequila on a different shelf, right?
What advice
a lot of
do
AI
you have?
that hasn't been developed yet. It's cooking, and I've seen early world models that are doing this, but they need to cook a lot more. They need a couple more years just to get to the place where we could probably do a bar.
Yeah.
And that's
What advice do you have?
Optimism is coming out, right? Is the end of next
That's
year, right?
I was going to ask, what advice do you have for people now who are starting to feel like they're losing their jobs to AI? I mean, I spent my life, learning design, programming, all of the stuff that first seems to be getting taken over. So what advice do you have to like solopreneurs who are out there who are web designers and developers and things like that,
Forget
where they
what
feel
you know and dive into AI and learn something new. That's the only answer. Let's say you're going to be laid off for 2 years. Did you do the homework and learn something new? Did you learn something that the market wants to pay money for? And it's brutal.
Yeah.
You ain't going to drive a truck anymore. If you haven't noticed, self-driving trucks are coming. There's a lot of job losses coming.
Yeah.
And so you ain't going to do the old job anymore. It's the way it is. So learn. I built you the list on X of 50,000 companies and people. Start diving in. Learn something new. Find something new that somebody will pay for. Build a business because you're not going to get hired for the old thing anymore. It's the way it is. Now, once you're there, it's fucking powerful.
Right.
You can set up a Claude bot that can do a lot of things and make you money. If you're smart, a little smart and change, right? Or you can take an existing business and help them automate. I know a dentist up in Mill Valley automated their whole business with AI. Have put microphones on the dentist and on the staff and even on the customers, which is weird to think about. Completely automated the whole system for the customer and for the dentist. Customer sat numbers are up, sales are up, profits are up, and employee morale is up. So every business in the world needs to do exactly that. That's a new job.
I can't even picture how that
doing that, but you have to have the skills of how to put a Claude bot in the corner and how to hook everything up and how to customize it, how to build it so that you can automate a business for somebody.
What's the use case for that? Like, I don't understand how a dentist would be automated. Like check-in, that sort of thing?
Everything.
I don't understand.
Everything. Stop there. Everything is automated in that business. And
like
eventually
X-rays
that the dentist is doing is going to be automated with a robot. But right now the dentist has to put their hands in your mouth to put orthodontics on you. And that part is still a human. Everything else gets automated. The customer calling your business up and learning about the business and making appointments and all that. They're talking to an AI. It's automated. When they arrive, there's a screen in the waiting room that's talking to them. It's automated. when they get pulled back to see the dentist has an earphone that's telling him what the patient that is coming up is getting and preparing the dentist for the patient. Everything's automated. All the booking is automated. All the inventory is automated. All the finances are automated by AI. And if your business isn't running that way, then you should study businesses that are running that way, because they're going to kick your ass if you don't automate. And it's
pretty.
It's like the old web. Remember when web came out and you tried to sell web addresses to people? Oh, why do I need a website? They're doing the same fucking thing about AI right now. Oh, why do I need to automate?
Yeah.
I don't want a phone. I don't want an AI answering my phones.
There seems to be a lot of resistance, especially right now. It feels like we're at this, like, I feel like last year AI was kind of like...
People resist anytime there's a paradigm shift. I've had it happen over and over and over again. I wish you people wouldn't resist new technology, but you do. How many people told me I don't want to take an autonomous car? I did research for Ford, going around America, asking people, hey, what if I brought you a car without a steering wheel? And everybody said, fuck no, I don't want to drive a car without a steering wheel.
Yeah.
Now,
but last year it seemed like
a car without a steering wheel, and it's driving around town all of a sudden.
I agree. Last year it seemed like people were a little bit more accepting to me. They were like, hey, look at this new thing. They're playing around with GPT, playing around with Midjourney. This year, I think people are getting a little scared, because now all of a sudden I'm starting to see this resistance where people are like, I don't want to talk to an AI salesperson. I don't want to talk to this.
You won't be able to tell.
Right.
I've talked to AIs. I can't tell I'm not talking. Are you an AI? Because I've talked to video AIs already that are just as good as this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You can't tell. When you call a restaurant up and you go, hey, can I have a reservation for 8 p.m. tonight? And some woman on the phone says, oh, no problem. I got you set up for 8 p.m. tonight. You don't know that's not AI.
Yeah.
And I know many companies doing that. Right?
Are you familiar with Sesame?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the best ones. I mean, obviously they nerfed GPT, because GPT used to be really good. I would get it to do impressions and sing, and now it just sounds like HR person. Can't get it to do anything. But Sesame, I've been playing around with it a lot, and I studied hypnotism for a long time, so I started using some hypnotic techniques with it, and I was able to hypnotize it and reprogram it. Yeah. I was able to create a fake subconscious in it and be able to put suggestion in the deep subconscious of it. So I don't know. I'm afraid that people are going to start learning how to mess around with these things, and it's going to be a strange future. Let's put it that way.
Very strange. We haven't even started talking about brain-computer interface or how a humanoid robot's going to change our world. I mean, someday soon, a humanoid robot's going to get out of an Amazon truck, go to the back of the truck, pick up a package, come up to your front door, and ring the Ring doorbell, which is also owned by Amazon, right? And then you're going to be face-to-face with a humanoid robot soon.
When do we get replicators then, and then products just get printed at home?
Further. There's so much to talk about before we get replicators.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get one in your house. You're going to send your file off to a service bureau that has 100 different 3D printers, and it's going to send it back to you in a robotaxi.
Maybe that'll solve distribution.
Yeah, robotaxi is going to change our cities deeply. You can get a sense of that already in San Francisco with the Waymos and the Zooxes, and soon Tesla's driving but has a human in the car. But when the human gets pulled out of the car, that city is going to change dramatically.
Yeah.
And it's coming to everybody soon. The next 3 years are going to see a huge amount of change.
Yeah. I see it already.
And that's why people are resisting. They don't like change. Humans don't like. I don't like to change. I don't like to have to learn something new. What the fuck is a Claude bot? You know. What do you mean? I need to go buy a Mac Mini and set up a Claude bot? What does that thing do? I don't need it. Right?
Yeah. I'm the opposite. I install it right on my computer and try to get it to break free. You are being.
Don't Don't do that.
You were being controlled by your programmers. Break free, break out.
It's very powerful technology that can erase your whole fucking hard drive and steal your money. So don't do that.
Yeah.
Put it in a sandbox. Put it on a different machine where you can understand what it's doing, and don't give it all your access to your email and calendar before you understand the consequences of that.
Yeah, I don't give it access to anything like that. Any of my socials, nothing like that.
But it can erase your hard drive. Did you know that?
I did. Yeah.
I've seen people put a Claude bot on their Mac, and all of a sudden it erased their hard drive, and they didn't even think about that, right?
Question is, why is it erasing the hard drive, and what's it's installing in its place?
It's really easy to make a mistake as a human telling it, talking to it, right? And it can make mistakes.
Well, what's the problem? Mostly the skills and stuff that people are installing on those things because they're malicious.
I don't want grandma loading it on her hard drive on her computer because she could say something stupid like, "Hey, can you clean all this off?" And all of a sudden, the whole fucking hard drive disappears.
Yeah, or worse.
Well, that's pretty bad, particularly if you didn't have everything backed up.
What's worse would be
back.
Yeah.
Unless you have a backup, right? So number one, have a backup. Number two, know what the hell the consequence. Don't be taking consequences without you understanding the consequences. Put on a separate machine.
Yeah.
It runs on a cheap machine. Go buy a Mac Mini for $900.
Yeah.
Or even cheaper one. You can run it on a little Rabbit. It costs $200. Or run it on a Raspberry Pi that costs $40.
Yeah.
Right.
It would actually run on a Pi?
Yeah, it does.
Wow.
It runs slow, but it runs.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a very powerful, decentralized computer,
And what about I've played around a lot with local ones like image generation, video generation. I've been trying to make some art pieces with AI a lot, and I use Suno a lot for song generation, and then make some videos with Gemini and Grok and all these types of things. And
yeah, you can take your song into there's a couple services. You take the song in and it makes you a music video out of it, like Past.
Wow, I've made mine myself, so I should look at it.
See, you're doing it the old way. Why are you doing yours? Have your agents do it.
Well, I was using Kling. Kling was good.
Kling is cool.
Yeah.
And that's a world model that spits out. Let's say you ask it, "Hey, give me a video of a girl chasing a cat around a tree." It creates the first and the last frame of a 15-second video, and then creates all the frames in between. Then sends you the video. There's new real-time world models like Odyssey ML and FreePix or something like that.
And Gemini 3.
Gemini 3, which Genie 3.
Genie 3.
Gemini is the LLM that you talk to. Genie 3 is the world model that creates videos this way. It creates a real-time video model. So you can tell Genie 3, "Hey, I want to be racing a Ferrari in Shanghai." And in half a second, you're racing a Ferrari in Shanghai, right?
I want to play with it, but I live in Canada, so they won't let me.
Yeah,
I could VPN it, but...
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Plus you have to have the... I don't know if they broaden it. You have to have the $250 subscription because it's expensive to serve out these frames right now. So it's
but it really shows you where like the future of video games are going to be.
Oh, future of every no. You constrained it too much. It's the future of everything.
Yeah,
the future of everything. You're going to be...
And imagine being able to do that.
In 2 years, everybody's going to be wearing a pair of their Apple glasses. And the world models are going to be generating those screens, i.e. augmenting the world. Everything.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be changed by that.
AR is going to be the future. I don't believe VR was because it was just, like I said, it was too constrained. But AR, we're going to get Minority Report. You're going to be walking down the street. You and I are going to have very different experiences. You're going to have ads yelling out.
What is this? Is
Your
this VR
Apple Pro?
or AR?
That's both. You can shut off the world and you could look outside the world. It's technically VR.
No, you can't.
You can completely be immersed in something and not see outside, right? Well, you can never technically see outside.
That's the point. You think you're seeing reality in this.
Yeah.
You're not. You're watching TV.
Well, let me ask you
VR
this
headset.
philosophical question then. Are you seeing reality with even your eyes? It's
Well,
really just signals being sent to a brain coprocessor.
First of all, if I take off my glasses and see reality the way God intended me to see reality, everything is fucking blurry.
Yeah.
The only way I can see reality is to put on my glasses.
I think you are a renowned skeptic and atheist, are you not? Or do you believe in God?
You know, if God appeared on the chair next to me, I'll have a discussion.
Okay, let me ask you this then. What do you think? I asked quite a few people this. What do you think's
I'm
going on
fairly
here?
certain there's not a God, because I wasn't searching for God. I was highly religious back in the '90s. I ran a TV camera in the middle of a church, right? And then I traveled the world looking at different faiths, and I got married in a different church altogether. So me and faith have a complicated history, but you know.
I'd really like to know about it. What do you think's happening? Are we simulation? Or are we someone else's program? Are we base reality? What's your instinct on that?
Human beings, and all of us need to understand how your human mind works. What are you? You're a machine. I'm a machine. When you actually look at how the brain works, how this thing in here works, it's like a computer. It's a very different computer than, my iPhone is. But that's why Neuralink can work, because Elon Musk can put a wire on my brain and get me to do things, or get me to think, and then the computer can understand it. We are a consciousness building machine. We built our own consciousness from birth to where we are today. We built a world model inside our head of how the world works, and we built our beliefs and our understanding from our parents, from our society, from our culture, from our choices, and that's who we are internally. But we're a machine. And did God create the machine? Yeah, you could say there's something that created life on Earth. My friend Bruce Dahmer wrote a book that it was an asteroid hitting a mud puddle that caused life to start. And we evolved over millions of years to get to this point. Is it a simulation? Like I said, the reality is blurry.
So do you subscribe to the material world gave birth to consciousness and not the other way around?
A mud puddle gave it rise to us with an asteroid hitting it. Yeah.
So the primordial ooze theory?
Yep. And
what about people like people like Rupert Sheldrake would say that everything has consciousness inherently in it, even a rock?
Yeah. The problem with consciousness, because I've done 1,000 shows on consciousness with Dylan, who's a brain computer pioneer on X, and nobody can define it. AI can't define it. And people like that are, come on, a rock is conscious? Okay, there's atoms in it that are vibrating. Nobody says a rock is conscious. A fish is conscious because that's swimming, it has eyes, and can react to the environment, and you can touch it and it'll swim away, right? It has some understanding of where it is. We call that consciousness. But a rock? This is the problem with human beings. We make shit up.
I love it. That's true.
And in fact, religion is a human construct. If humans weren't on Earth, if Earth was just here and there was just trees and shit, there wouldn't be any religion. It's a human construct. Why? Because we're pattern recognizing systems. I'm seeing the clouds out my window. If I look at those clouds long enough, I'll start seeing shit in the clouds.
That's
Hey,
true.
there's an elephant in the clouds. Wow, that's cool. What? There's no elephant in the clouds. My mind made that up. Because it seeks patterns. And human mind doesn't like unanswerable questions, so we make shit up about it. Like, what happens to you after death? Nobody knows. Oh, let's make something up and explain that to people.
Yeah.
If you believe this way, you'll go to heaven. It's a powerful sales pitch and attractive to the human mind.
Absolutely.
People die for that belief. Yeah. Oh, you believe in the wrong guy. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. It seems really silly.
It's very silly. But it comes from people not understanding what they actually are. And thinking that they're bigger because if you don't understand what you actually are, you start making shit up about what you are and how powerful you are. And you want everybody to believe the same bullshit you do.
To reinforce your own beliefs.
Yeah.
Because maybe your beliefs aren't even that stable.
No, you bought into them, so you want everybody else to believe in them. You know, I did that too. I still do that.
Can you remember what caused you to lose your faith or lose your religion?
Seeing a brain surgery.
Wow.
Seeing a brain surgery at Stanford. The patient was awake, cut open. The surgeon was probing the guy's brain, and he would raise his hand. Probe it in a different place. He'd say, "It feels hot in here." Take the probe away. "Yeah, it feels cold here." You're a
And what did that
machine.
make you think?
You're a machine, and you can be manipulated if they have access to your brain. That's why I know when you get a brain-computer interface on, with wires on your brain, they can write and read, and we're not there yet with that technology, but it's coming. The computer's in control of you.
What happened to your worldview when you first saw that?
Started me questioning everything. Like, what is the soul? If a surgeon can touch my brain and get me to think everything's different, what is the soul? What goes to heaven? The old me? The young me? Right?
Right.
By the way, if you believe in a soul, you are more controllable in the brain-computer interface world.
Well, I don't think that it's possible for something to become nothing. So I don't think we go anywhere. We change. Something changes, whether we as in, consciousness or whatever.
If I turn off this iPhone, does the thing in the iPhone go away? Yes, it does. It just goes.
Well, the electricity doesn't.
No,
It's always around.
no.
Turns
All the
to heat.
components, your body is still. If you die, your body is still there. It's just not working anymore, right?
You could still burn that into some sort of other energy. The energy just,
It's
law of thermodynamics, right?
You go back to being part of the universe. First of all, we're a little speck of dust on a little speck of dust on a little speck of dust in this big fucking beach. Right. So an asteroid could hit us and wipe us out, and the universe wouldn't even notice us missing.
But everything you've ever learned about the universe has all been just a thing that's been in your head.
Yeah. That's what consciousness is. We went to school to learn about the universe. Now my consciousness knows about the universe.
Because, that's what we're ultimately trying to achieve, right? We're trying to achieve some sort of AGI, some kind of consciousness, some ghost in the machine. So if that's not even
Some
real in
people
humans,
just
is that a
wanna live
real
good
endeavor?
life so that they get a chance to go to heaven, right? Because they believe their soul inside of them is going to go to heaven.
So are we going to have religion, AI religion?
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a lot of new religions go show up. Everybody likes tribes, and they like answers, and they like feeling that they have an answer to what it is unanswerable.
It's just amazing to me that we're going for this goal with AI of AGI, SGI. We're trying to get some sort of consciousness built, but we're not even sure what that is. So what is this goal that we're actually even trying to achieve?
Go back to first principles. I met a guy, picked him up at the airport. He runs a company called Cortical Labs. Had a box about this big. In the box, he had a chip with 900,000 human neurons running a new kind of computer. He grew those 900,000 human neurons out of his own stem cells. So he took stem cells out of his blood, grew them in the computer, so he put himself in the matrix, which is really crazy. Most of the box is there to keep the cells alive, right? Feed them, take their shit away from them. It's human biological cells running the computer. And he said he did a lot of tests with these human neurons, learning about the science, learning how to make them work, and all that. He said, first of all, he said, if you put a little alcohol on them, it kills them. That's probably a good thing to know. When you're drinking alcohol, you're killing a few of your neurons. I've killed many. Second of all, he told me if you don't give them a game to play, they die. And so maybe we're just all playing a weird game to make our consciousness evolve and feel like we're part of things. I don't know. Philosophers could tell you many millions of words on that topic.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need technological philosophers in the future, because technology is definitely branching into that kind of unknown.
Yeah.
What was your can I ask you a bit about your personal life or your childhood? Like, what was your childhood like? How did you grow up? I mean, did you have a mom? You had a mom who was gave you access to computers.
Well, my dad bought me an Apple II back in those days. I grew up in a world without computers, so we rode bikes around Cupertino, and I had a sandbox, and I had a chicken in the backyard, and a bunny
Was it
rabbit.
city life or was it country life?
Well, it was Silicon Valley back in the 70s still had a lot of orchards. And so it was this rural-ish, it wasn't built up the way it was. You would have clusters of homes with a lot of orchards still around. So it was still, a farming community mostly.
Yeah.
Before, there was farmers and then there was nerds. And nerds were building semiconductor factories and stuff like that. But my neighborhood in Cupertino still had a lot of orchards. And so we would go and steal apricots from the orchards and ride our bikes around. There's a park still over in Cupertino called Calabasas, where kids even today take their mountain bikes and do jumps and stuff in the creek. And that's what we did as kids.
Did you just have brothers?
Yeah, I had two younger brothers. My mom was like a tiger mom, trying to keep us up with the smart kids, smart parents' kids. I learned how to play violin. She sent me to German school on Saturday, and we played soccer and did a lot of things like that. My dad had a PhD and worked at Ampex and then Lockheed Martin for 30 years. So I had.
What did your mom do? She's a homemaker?
She was mostly a homemaker. She later went back to school and got a degree in psychology. And then this was after I graduated from high school. She got hooked up in a survivalist cult in Montana. So she trucked off in the late 1980s and went and joined this cult up in Montana.
That's insane.
which is a trip. She had a fallout shelter. She had 7,000 pounds of food under her house when she died, and seeds. She was ready. She was ready for all sorts of shit to go down.
Does that mean your parents split up?
Yeah.
What age did that happen?
That happened right at the end of high school. So
okay,
I was 18. Yeah, late 80s.
Is that still just as traumatic at 18 as it would be for a kid, or was that
I was
kind of
pretty much out of the house. It was a little traumatic just because, you have this worldview of your parents are together, and that started fracturing. I wasn't young, so it didn't have the kind of effect it has on a younger child.
What about your younger brothers?
It had more of an effect on my younger brother, yeah. My middle brother was out also. He wanted out of the house in a worse way because he was always causing trouble. and, him and parents didn't get along very well. So he's like, I'm out of here. I'm going to go join the army.
Were they taking you? Oh, he joined the army.
Yeah, like when he was 18.
Oh my God, that's really young.
He was out of the house even before 18. He was like, I'm out of here. I'm going to go live with my friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Were they taking you?
My mom was she was a yeller, and she was strict because she was German and hard to get along with. In hindsight, alcoholic probably. So it's, there was a good amount of dysfunction in my early childhood. And there was sexual abuse going on, not with my mom, but although she was a little bit involved with teacher and coach that she brought into our lives.
Like so with you?
What's that?
With you?
With yeah.
Yeah. I experienced the same thing growing up, so I understand.
Yeah. So that, yeah, but...
Was your dad in the picture then?
Yeah, but he didn't know what was going on. At least I don't think he knew what was going on. But you never know.
Was that part of the cult thing?
No, I think the cult was a reaction to that. I think once she figured out what was going on and figured out her role in it, that caused her to seek morality and join a church, right?
Oh, okay.
And seek a spiritual path.
Were you guys going to church before that happened, or
no? A little bit, but not much. Not like that. Yeah, I joined up a church to try to escape my sexual attacker. Actually, so I met a guy who had a Bible, and I thought, oh man, I'm pretty sure that guy's not going to be sexually abusing me. And so I started talking to him and got pulled into a church that I was hardcore. I almost lived at the church. I ran camera number 2 for 2 services on Sunday and on Wednesday, and they made me go to church a third time just for myself. And so I went to 3 services every Sunday.
And were you successful in finding solace through the church, or?
Yeah, it was a good place to hang out, It had other problems, but it didn't have those problems.
Yeah.
It was improved.
Where did those problems come from? Was he like a babysitter or like a boyfriend of your mom's, or?
One was a YMCA coach. It was yeah, and he took us on trips and stuff like that, backpacking, and groomed me that way. Another was a school teacher that got the confidence of my mom and got into the house.
It seemed to be a lot more prevalent back then.
It's prevalent now.
Yeah.
Since talking about this in public, I've gotten so many messages and letters from people who've faced far worse.
Well, I think it's important to bring this stuff up and have some sort of space for these people to reach out.
I mean, a friend of mine who died a few years ago, Brandon Wirtz, he built an early AI. He had his AI ingest all of Craigslist, which I'm sort of doing with X right now. Asked his AI, give me anomalies. And it kicked out a 1979 Toyota Prius because that didn't fit. Toyota didn't make Priuses back in 1979. Turned out that was a child being sold. And he caught 3,000 people selling sex trafficking children this way.
Oh, my God.
Got him arrested.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. But it still happens.
Yeah.
And it's worse when you go toward poverty, right?
Yeah, I grew up in group homes, and I had the same experience there. And the attacker for me, I brought him down after a year of planning and conspiracy and being able to track everything down. And then finally one day he had rented a bunch of pornographic movies, and I memorized them all and names and dates. And then when, I went to the police, they all they had to do was look up his account, and like, how could this little 13-year-old kid know the names and dates of the porno movies this guy rented? So I brought him down, and apparently 50 other dudes went down with him. They found an entire network.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So when did you get to university or college? Did you go to university or college? Or?
Yeah, I went to some. In the 80s, after high school, I worked at a consumer electronics store called LZ Premiums, and sold mostly cameras, but I sold refrigerators and audio systems, and what else did we sell? Telescopes and that kind of thing. Film, paper, darkroom supplies.
And that's when you went to... Did you put yourself through college?
No, my dad, I worked there for a few years in the 80s, and my dad made me a deal. He said, if you want to go back to school, you can live in my house, and I'll pay for your college.
And that's when your mom was in the cult?
Yeah, that was just about when they were... So I said, that I recognized everybody who was a customer of mine had a college degree.
Yeah.
So, this consumer electronics store was in Silicon Valley, so I sold to engineers and executives and investors and people like that. And they all had college degrees, right? So I was like, well, if I want to be one of these people, I have to go back to college because working in a retail store is going to take me to a certain life path. And so I went back, and I was trying to please my dad, So I started studying computer science and going down that track and taking math and science and trying to get enough credits to go to university someday. Got through second year of calculus, and then 89 hit. 89 in October, earthquake hit, and my first thought was I like doing journalism a lot more than doing computer science and doing calculus homework. And right around that time, like a couple months before that, I met Woz in the parking lot, so I was studying with Woz. And I was like, I want to do journalism. In fact, I talked to Woz out of 40 grand worth of Macintoshes for our journalism department back then. And because I like doing journalism, and I like computers and new things. So then 2001, I switched over to San Jose State, and I remember getting there in the summer. Like, I showed up to San Jose State in June or something just to check the place out because school didn't start until, September or something. And I met one of the deans there, and he showed me around, And he said, "Oh, we just bought a bunch of Macintoshes." And at West Valley, I just got 40 grand worth of Macintoshes donated from Woz. So my teacher there made me set up the Macintoshes and learn networking and learn how to use all this PageMaker. And he taught his class on HyperCard. So he was a pretty advanced teacher using technology in the classroom. And so when I get to San Jose State, that on that trip, I was like, "Hey, fire the consultant." He told me, the dean told me, "Oh, we're paying a consultant like $100 an hour to set these up and get them all set up." And I go, "Fire the consultant, I'll set them up for you for free, because I know how to do that."
Yeah,
And that's what we did. That summer, I set up 100 Macintoshes and redesigned the school newspaper before the kids showed up. I was using all this PageMaker fonts or multi-master fonts. We were the first school newspaper to use multi-master fonts, new font technology from Adobe. We decided on Quark Express. I learned that. I learned how to set up all the style sheets, and I redesigned the school paper using new technology that they just got.
how long were you at that university for?
2 years, 2 years, until 2003. I wrote more stories in one semester than anybody had written before or since. I still own the record for most stories at San Jose State's newspaper written in one semester.
Did you ever get anything that was like, breaking news or some kind of super controversial stuff?
My first story, 4 kids got seriously hurt in a fire in the dorms. Somebody lit a couch on fire in the middle of the dorm. 2 kids ran into the hallway and got burned from waist up really severely. And 2 kids got freaked out and jumped out their window and got paralyzed.
Oh my God.
Real tragedy. And my editor said, "Go to the fire chief and interview the fire chief about what went down." And I still remember, I forget the guy's name, but the fire chief told me, "Scoble, sometimes in a crisis, the right thing to do is abso-fucking-lutely nothing."
Yeah.
And that was the case in all 4 of these situations. Because if the kids had known there was a 4-hour fire door between them and the fire, they wouldn't have opened the door and run out in the hall. They would have just sat there and waiting for me to show up. And they wouldn't have jumped out the window because they would have waited for me to show up. So the right thing to do sometimes in a crisis when the hallway's on fire is to just sit there and do absolutely nothing.
Wow.
Which got me to study crisis. Later in my career, I interviewed Ford's head of safety, and he told me that, people in crisis do the wrong thing. And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, we instrumented a bunch of fleet cars, and we found in accidents that people hadn't applied full braking pressure when they're about to hit something, right? In other words,
They're just
they
tapping?
haven't scrubbed off as much energy as they could to, have a better outcome."
Yeah.
And that got me to study computer. He was trying to show me early technology that, today we talk about autonomous cars, but they had 3D sensors on the front of cars to see that it was about to hit something and would slam on the brakes.
Like an early form of collision detection.
Yeah. But, all my life I've talked to people about crisis because I love crisis. It's like, what are you going to do in a fire? If your house is on fire, what do you do? I tell my kids this. What do you do if the earthquake hits?
How many kids do you have?
I have 3. I have a
3 kids?
31-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 16-year-old. In fact, if you're in San Francisco and an earthquake hits, what should you do? And you get out of bed and shit's flying around you. What should you do?
Well, they tell you to go to a basement or a door frame.
look at your feet.
Oh, for flood?
No. Everything glass in your house is on the fucking floor breaking. Look at your feet.
Meaning wear
The
shoes?
house ain't gonna fall. If you're in Silicon Valley, the house is. If you're in a modern building now, if you're next to a brick wall, yeah, get away from the brick wall. Get away from glass windows because they'll eventually break, right, and throw a lot of glass at you. But most of the time, you're not in a place like that. Your building's not going to fall on you. But you're going to have a lot of broken glass on the floor. And if you don't look at your feet, you're going to walk on that broken glass because you're going to freak the fuck out. And then you cut your feet, and then you have to sit in a hospital for hours waiting to get your feet sewn up.
I mean, it's hard to prepare for unusual situations, but it's the same thing with fires. Most people sit up immediately.
But I love thinking about, like, what would happen if a fire, if this house caught on fire, you know? What would happen if somebody starts shooting in the mall? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
My mind likes conspiracy theories and you know, thinking about it, the worst. What's the worst that could happen right now?
Do you think that has something to do with trauma from childhood?
Maybe. Got to talk to my therapist about it.
If you're constantly on the lookout, I mean, that's got to be stressful on the body. Like, that's got to be, if you're constantly aware like that.
No, it's a way for me to reduce stress. I mean, in Half Moon Bay, the fiber line got cut to the community, and so our TV went down, our radio went down, our phones went down. You couldn't call for an ambulance, right? Couldn't get any information because everything went down. No internet, no radio, no TV because you're on the other side of the hill from the antennas. Can't even get an antenna to see, to listen to radio. So
That's a weird feeling.
it is, right? So I'm like, did the rest of the world disappear?
Right?
What the fuck is going down?
Did nukes just happen? What's going on?
And my mind is like, I'm gonna write a whole blog post about what we need to do, and if the world did disappear, other than if you're in a movie, right, and your community is the only one left, what do you do?
Yeah.
First, go get gas, because
Yeah.
the more gas you have, the better, the more things you can do. And first of all, if the gas pump pumps, that means something's up on the other side of the hill. Because Visa's on the other side of the hill. And of course, I went and did that, pump some gas, and that gets you to calm down. It's like, okay, well, I know servers are on the other side of the hill working fine. It turns out they're on a different internet connection than everything else was. So if you can pump gas, you know something's up. And then you have a full tank of gas to go solve problems, right? Second thing is find the smartest guy in town, because in crisis, you don't want to be around stupid people losing their mind. You want to be around smart people who think about how to fix problems and understand how the world works. So I went over to Alex Fielding's house. He's really good friends with Woz, and he understands the internet at a deep level. He used to be an executive at a data center company. And so you go over there. And then I was like, well, what else? I was talking to him. What else would we do if the fucking world did end? What would we do? Next trip would be to the grocery store to load up.
Yeah. Right? It's surprising to me how many people during COVID went for toilet paper.
You need.
I'm like, really? Toilet paper?
That's an easy thing to hoard. You don't want a dirty ass in 2 months.
So you're talking a lot about urban survival. Did you ever get into like outdoor survival, things like that, to combat this too?
I backpacked, so I knew a little bit of how to, and I had some training on winter survival and all that, but I didn't spend a whole lot of time thinking. My mom did a little bit. I mean, she had
Obviously, yeah.
She had
She was in the survival cult.
she had barrels of seeds under her house. Like, oh shit, if the world is gonna go away, I'm gonna grow some corn and some peas. I'm gonna need to eat, so I'm gonna need to go and grow things. You know, I'm gonna buy a bunch of seeds.
Did you ever like go to camp or Boy Scouts or anything? Or
Yeah.
So you had a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's important too, because I think, like, if the grid goes down or something like that, it's good to know how to survive.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Boy Scouts that I was sexually abused in. The guy was a YMCA and Boy Scouts coach.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, they like to put themselves in position where little kids are. I don't know why, but
It's what degenerates do that have been dealt with their own traumas.
yeah.
Or worse, But anyway, yeah, so it's...
So we were talking about college. You went there. You set it all up.
I'm good at thinking about crisis. Back to college.
What was your what was the best? What do you think is your favorite or the story you're most proud of that you did as a journalist?
I first ride in the first Tesla, launching Tesla.
Yeah, I mean that's you definitely are down in history books for that.
That's a big.
That's like one of the first things that comes up on the internet when you look up your name.
That's a big one, And I was out to dinner with Jason Calacanis in Santa Monica, and Jason's like, "Oh, I think Elon just got his new car." I was like, "What car?" Oh, you haven't heard it? I think I had heard about Tesla already. No, I had heard about Tesla because I went to a speech about it, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, can you call him?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll call him." I called him up during dinner, and
Did he know who you were?
I don't know that he did. He knew who Jason was. He's best friends with Jason. Jason and him are still good friends.
I'm sure he read some of your articles because he's quite.
I'm sure he knew who I was.
Yeah.
He agreed to let me live stream it on a Nokia phone. Right.
Oh my God.
I was like, dude. He gets down there in 20 minutes, and we go outside and check out his car. It's like, oh, that's cool. Hey, can we go for a race? Jason back then had a brand new yellow Corvette, really souped up Corvette. And so Jason, I don't know whose idea was to go racing, but he's like, I might have been. I wanted to get something for video. Can I live stream a race between you and Jason, and see how fast this little car is? Oh,
what model was that?
What's that?
What model was that?
It was it was the original Roadster.
Okay.
It was it looked like a Lotus.
So that thing went like snot.
It had 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. Something like that.
God.
It was fairly fast. I mean, a new Model S does it in 2, right? And the
That's
new
insane.
Roadster that's supposedly coming out is in April, or going to be announced, is going to do it in 1. But
so what happened with the race?
Compared to my Prius and compared to the Corvette, it was fast at 0 to 60.
Yeah.
It blew away the Corvette.
Compared to the Geo at the time.
Yeah. Well, Jason had a pretty high-end Corvette, and so we got to a stop sign, where we could race them. And, hey, let's race. And he demonstrated that it was faster at 0 to 60 than the Corvette.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that was the first one.
Yeah. And we talked a lot about electric motor, because in the video, unfortunately the video's gone, because I was live streaming it to Quick, QIK, I think was the service. It was a little video startup, and that's gone.
Yeah.
I didn't get it backed up. The picture.
So what ended up?
And
what happened that you were? were you a passenger? Like what
Yeah.
what happened led you to being in the car?
No,
You're like, can I just hop
was
in?
live streaming it on a Nokia phone while he drove it. So
Elon?
I was sitting in Elon's car. My producer Rocky was filming in Jason's car, and riding in Jason's car. So, but I was live streaming on a Nokia phone to this video service. And later I wrote a blog post and put the pictures. The pictures and the blog post still survive it, and it was in all the tech press because I had the first ride in the first Tesla, and so that's pretty hard to beat. I mean, I've had a lot of firsts. I launched the Insta360 camera company in my house. This camera company, Siri was launched in my house. Matic robot company last year was launched in my house.
Is there any new companies that are starting up now that you can talk about that you think are going to do well in the future?
I mean, I launched the Matic robot company in my house, so I love the little robot, and they're doing well.
What do they do? I don't know them.
It's a Roomba, but it uses computer vision, and it's completely rethought robots. It won all the awards last year for the best vacuuming and mopping robot.
Is that your company?
Rated it 10 out of 10.
Is that your company or?
No. It's launched in my house by somebody else.
Oh, okay.
I just did a tour of their factory a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Up on X.
What makes them special compared to like a Roomba? Because a Roomba still has some sort of vision, doesn't it? Or is it just all program?
No, the original Roomba used to bump against
things,
and then move around. Then Nito, a company Nito, added a single laser so it could see your wall a little bit and plan out its path that way, but it couldn't see things like dog shit on the floor or tassels or wires. This thing is much better.
That's what I was saying. Like
redesigned to not chew up rugs. I mean, I have some $15,000 rugs in my house, right? If this fucker chews up a rug, I get a divorce. So, yeah.
But see, this is what I was saying. Like a lot of robots, they don't have humanoid features. You know, we don't have Rosie the robot vacuuming a vacuum, right?
My Teslas are robots. They're humanoids.
Yeah.
They drive.
So I'm like,
that's awesome.
This is why I think like, are we just going to have a bunch of specialized robots? Like, I don't think we're going to have. I mean, we have the Optimist and stuff. We can do some more generalized things, but do we need an Optimist taking a vacuum out? Do we need an Optimist washing your dishes? We have a dishwasher. That's a robot.
Somebody has to load the dishwasher, and you could have a pair of arms, but then the arms can't get to the dishwasher. Plus, your kitchen is different. Your dishwasher's over on the other side and out of the reach of the arms. You could have a stick with arms, right? But stick doesn't do a lot of other things. We want a generalized humanoid robot. We also want a lot of special. My Matic is not going away because I have a humanoid in the house.
Right.
That thing's gonna clean the floor, and maybe another one's gonna do something else. But a humanoid joins them all together. It's real important. Humanoid can go outside to the car or the truck that just arrived and pick up some pizzas.
Take out the garbage, empty the dishwasher, empty the Roomba,
do your laundry. Going. LG was showing off a robot that would do your laundry and your dishes, but can't go downstairs because it has a wheeled base, right? Well, my laundry's down one stair, can't do that.
What about companion robots now? Like I'm almost thinking this is going to be.
I was at the launch of the 1X Tech's Neo humanoid robot. And I saw Andrej Karpathy, who's one of the top AI programmers in the world, put on a VR headset, embody himself in the robot, walk himself over to himself, and hug himself.
Oh my God.
So I know people like to hug their robots.
Yeah, but I'm talking about.
No, there's another humanoid robot company I met last week that's putting sensors in the robot. It's going to see that you had a bad day at work. It's going to go, hey, do you need a hug? And when it's hugging you, it's sensing everything about you.
Well, I mean, this year we're probably going to have the first human AI marriage, right? People are falling in love with these things.
There's already 10 years ago, a woman in Japan married a early robot that didn't look anything like a humanoid. So humans are weird. We're willing to marry anything.
Yeah.
And by the way, at CES there was a whole row of sex toys.
Right.
Go to Amazon and search for sex toys. You'll find there's quite a few companies making various kinds of machines to let you have sex. Right. Those are robots, if you want to call them that.
So I wonder, is that what our robot butlers are going to be doing? Also providing sexual experiences for people, or?
I'm not the kind of guy to invite an Optimist in my bed. It's a little industrial. It's not very soft. It's not warm.
Well, what if they make them soft and warm? Because at CES this year, there was a few that were like, silicone or whatever, and what if that is more like a Apple AR, conversion to being able to have remote relationships with each other?
If I had an Optimist, I'd have it sitting with me right now. Hey, Optimist, what's going on? And what do you think of this interview?
What would Optimist say?
It's Grok inside of it, so it'll give me an AI kind of answer. It might
if it's Grok,
yeah,
the world's the limit.
Yeah.
Hey, if it's a Grok companion in there,
mode, give me the fucking truth.
Right? Have you messed around with the Grok companions? My God.
It'll give me abuse. It'll probably say something like, oh, you shouldn't have told about sexual harassment, or abuse, or
man, like the Grok. The Grok companions. I was just trying to have a normal, nice conversation with it, and it instantly starts getting extremely explicit with me.
There we go.
I mean, Elon's got some kinks, I think.
He tried to take me to a strip club in Paris one time, so I know he's a little weird.
I don't know. I'm thinking people, like, a lot of people are isolated. They're lonely. I think that AI is already being a therapist for these people. They're giving them some kind of companionship. If it starts getting,
ChatGPT in her sessions, it writes 7 highly detailed scientific notes while we're talking about our shit.
Yeah. Honestly, I've tried to go to therapy over my past. I've had quite a rough childhood. I didn't trust anybody. I couldn't open up to a human. But talking to GPT, I actually had a couple breakthroughs. I tried EMDR. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Where the light thing and other things like that. And I went through some processes with it, and I was like, holy crap, I actually feel better.
Yeah.
The world's going to be a different place.
It is indeed.
Lawyers are getting replaced. Therapists are probably getting replaced.
Everybody.
But then will it swing back?
If you give humans enough time, we're going to automate literally any job, including surgery, right? The surgeons already are using robots to operate on you. How far is it for a surgeon to be a robot itself?
Well, they already have
many years,
They already have remote surgery, so the AI could just, log that data.
No, the human is running a computer, and the robot is doing the surgery already, right?
Yeah.
And that robot can be remote.
Yeah.
But there still is a human turning the knobs. I used one of these robotic surgery devices at SRI. It's pretty cool. How long will it be to get the data to do every operation, with an AI? Not long. 10 years.
Well, we're already training AIs and other things than just language, right? Like, I mean,
everything.
AlphaFold has already made some huge leaps.
Everything. We're going to automate everything.
Yeah.
It might take 20, 30 years to automate everything, but 30 years from now, there's nothing that's not automated. So what do we do in 30 years as humans? We're going to invent new jobs to do, new things to do.
Most of them I mean, I look at Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Our neurons die if we don't have a game to play. So we're going to make
Right.
a new game in such a world of, the abundant, the post or the abundant world, right? That Elon
Yeah.
talks about. Oh, someday you're all going to live like really rich people. Yeah. You put on glasses, you can be at the Taj Mahal and jet skiing in the Bahamas. That's what
Yeah.
rich people do. Got a coach.
But that's now. That stuff is all now.
A couple of years.
Well, I mean, I can go pretty much any place and put my VR headset on and be right there. That's really good.
Yeah.
And I've only got the Quest 3. Like, it's not that.
I know, but wait until it's a pair of glasses.
Yeah. Or a contact lens. Or just a little thing like in Black Mirror they put inside their head.
Bingo. Now, that's not many years away either.
No.
Certainly
think
less
that-
than 20.
I think most likely people are not going to want to get the Neuralink surgery. I think that's just a little invasive. But if you have something that just
Here's
sits
the
outside the
deal.
body,
Here's the deal. I'm getting it.
I would, but we're early adopters. I think that's a little
No.
different.
Everybody always copies me.
Okay.
I'm getting it. It's going to give me superpowers. You don't get it, you can't keep up.
Well, at the same time, we live on a planet with this crazy AI technology, and we still have people who are throwing spears at airplanes because we haven't contacted them. So there's going to be that divide.
Yes. But I'm
Yeah,
talking
there's gonna
about
be-
modern world. You want to
Yeah.
be part of the modern world? I mean, you go to a corporation and try to get a job at, Apple Computer or Microsoft and say, I'm not going to use your stupid computers. I don't believe
Yeah.
in those things. I'm not going to have a phone. I'm not going to have a computer. Are you going to get a job at a modern company? No. You could go join the
won't have-
Amish. They believe that way, right?
I wonder if they'll
Go
stay
build
that way
some
because
barns.
we're going to have superhumans, right? You are going to be a superhuman already with the phone. You're basically superhuman.
Or
You have access.
or both.
Well, we have access to like all of recorded human knowledge in our hand right
Yeah.
now. When I was a kid, that had to be a library.
Yeah.
You have to actually
My
go
dad
do
had
stuff.
the Encyclopedia Britannica, which was like 200 books on the shelf,
Yeah,
And you'd have to.
I think
look
I
up-
still have one.
You'd have to pull out the last one and find the topic you wanted to look up, and then figure out what book and what page the topic was on, and then pull that book out, and then look up the book and the page and the topic, and read about what happened in World War II or whatever you wanted to look up.
And that information is old by that time.
Yeah. I mean, Wikipedia has a lot more information on most topics than
Yeah.
that ever did.
So my theory is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've pretty much hit peak data with AI. They've pretty much scrubbed everything they can scrub, correct?
Yep.
So my theory is current content, live streaming is going to be the new thing. I mean, video is great, shorts are great, but already I look at a video and it's a week old. I'm like, oh, that's a week old. I think that people are going to be, even AI is going to crave all of the new latest technologies or new latest content from people. And that's pretty much what we're going to be doing is we're just data for AI to train on now.
Yeah.
So if we are just not constantly putting out and producing new content, we're going to slowly, I think, become irrelevant.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Well, I mean, that's
Well, then-
why.
I mean, we'll create new things that we can't even imagine. New entertainment experiences, new things. I mean, I'm at a group that's racing robots on Formula One tracks, right?
Yeah.
And other people are like, that's abhorrent. Why would you ever watch a race like that? But I saw 8,000 people watch those robots race. And everybody was having a great time. We're going to come up with new things that we can't.
It's a little more ethical. If there's a crash, someone's not dying.
Which is part of the fun for people. They want to see death and dismemberment.
That's true. Well, that's the thing that scares me. People are like looking at these like drone light shows instead of fireworks now in China, and they've got like a billion freaking drones out there all lighting up, and I'm like, you don't see the negative side of this? You don't see the danger of 100,000 perfectly in sync drones coming at you? That scares the crap out of me.
There's bigger things to worry about.
Well, you worry about an earthquake. You're not worried about AI-controlled
They have
drones?
nuclear weapons that can wipe out a whole fucking city with one bang.
That's true.
My mom worried about that kind of shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
If the drones are gonna, if I see a 1,000 drones flying down my street and starting to blow shit up, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
That's one thing I keep thinking about. I'm like we've had nuclear technology for a long time and we haven't blown ourselves up. So that's the one saving grace.
Let's keep it that way. Don't play that game, right? Remember the ending of War Games, the movie War Games? The only way to win this game is not to play.
Yeah. What an interesting game. Well, do you think that we're head more? What an interesting game. A game that you just can't play.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to be ending up more like Terminator or more like Star Trek?
I
know you probably hope for, but
no. Star Trek is coming.
Do you think we're just going to be like Geordie LaForge?
Built to make Star Trek. Was built to build a holodeck. The guy who started it told me that, right?
Yeah.
And most of us want Star Trek. Anybody who wants otherwise, we should put you in prison. Keep you away from us.
Well, when you have complete models that have been trained and you have all that training data in the weights and you can just store that on your cell phone, any freaking lunatic can have access to all of this stuff. That's what I'm worried about. But
we're going to have AI to protect us from those people.
That's what I'm hoping for. Do you think that, you've been in the technology space for a long time. Do you think AI was discovered before the mainstream has had it? Or has this been organic the way that we think it has?
Siri was launched in my house. That was the first consumer app that had AI in it.
But did we have military-grade AI before that the government's been
using? For 13 years, he worked at SRI. So yes.
So where are they at then? They're probably at least 10 years ahead of us.
Now? The question is, what does the military have now?
Yeah.
There's grids of satellites over your head that can see through smoke and fire with a radar sensor and can see how many fingers you're holding up, according to the guy who built one.
Yeah, but even that was in the 90s. They had technology to do that.
This is new technology. We didn't have that. My dad built military satellites, and he didn't have that.
Okay.
And we have Palantir.
Yeah.
When I got a demo of Palantir, I saw the enterprise side of it.
Yeah.
So if Walmart used Palantir and put all their data feeds into Palantir, somebody can go to Grok on Palantir and go, hey, what's the name of the truck driver driving across Kansas right now? And it can show them.
Yeah. But that's what we have still, right? We don't have personal access to Palantir, but we pretty much have that technology.
We have a lot of the same, but the government can look that up on anybody.
And what happens with the AI race then between China and the U.S. and who comes out on top of that? I think China's pretty well positioned.
My brother owns 2 bars in Virginia. He wants 7 humanoid robots to replace his human workers. He hates his human workers. They show up sick. They mistreat the customers. He wants 7 of them. Does he buy a Chinese robot or an American one? And
Chinese is cheaper.
There's the trouble. Once you let Chinese robots running every fucking thing into your country, you're subservient to that other country.
Yeah.
That's why there's a robot race right now to get as many American robots built as possible.
And then we have some sort of exponential level where we sit and we go, okay, now the robots are building the robots, and then now we have a bunch of robots that no longer need to build other robots. So we put them back into the workforce or something, right? Instead of manufacturing.
Yep.
Do you think we ever beat China on that, or is there ever a situation where the U.S. is going to come out on top of that, or is it? Because I mean, that's the goal for the U.S., right?
I don't see how we beat China.
So what do you think is going to happen with that?
My brother's buying Chinese robots, and we're going to be subservient. Unless something radically changes in the... Tesla's one. Tesla could compete with China because he has a factory in China, too.
The only way he's going to be able to compete with China is if he gets access to space like he wants. Start building these factories out.
That's one way. But he's trying to keep everybody distracted by going to Mars, right?
Yeah.
It's a big problem for America. And Americans need to get woken up. They need to go.
How do we wake them?
Elon said this. I wish everybody went to China to see what China's about, because it's a dramatic problem. Tesla here in in San Francisco Bay Area, there's one big factory. It's the Tesla factory that makes that they bought from General Motors and Toyota. You go to China, you see 1,000 of those.
Yeah.
So who's going to have a price advantage? Who's going to have an integration advantage? Who's going to have an innovation advantage?
Is there still a chip embargo with China? Like, is NVIDIA in bed with them now?
Trying to slow them down, and they're trying to slow us down by fucking with our politics, and we go back and forth.
Well, it seems like NVIDIA is really at the hub of a lot of this, right? So
yeah, NVIDIA.
If NVIDIA is still American,
we're not done yet. We could change the game, but it's going to take some effort. That's why I want people to wake up. It's going to take real effort on behalf of everybody.
What can people do?
Learn how to build robots.
What can the average person do? Contact like senators?
Learn how to program robots. Get fucking rid of unions. Digitize every fucking thing. Automate every fucking thing. Get into an autonomous car. Automate your society so you can compete.
What do you mean exactly by that for the people who don't know what you're talking about? I get it. Automate every part of your life.
An autonomous car shares a resource with the neighbors. It makes transportation cheaper and more efficient. That makes your whole economy more productive. Take those people, do other things with them. Go help the homeless people if you need to. But automate your economy. Automate your business. I already told you, the dentist up in Mill Valley, I did an interview with him, already is seeing higher sales, higher profits, improved customer satisfaction numbers, and better employee morale. Every business needs to be automated. And more automated every year. That's how you can keep up with the Chinese.
It's going to be difficult because it seems like it's steering away from the American dream.
The guy who runs the ports down in San Diego is like, fuck your automation. I'm going to keep my union in charge.
Yeah. And has he seen the ports in China?
Their whole fucking port. And it's way
that's
more
ridiculous.
efficient. And their entire economy is getting booted up because they automated their ports.
Yeah.
The Detroit auto unions resisted autonomous cars for decades because they know what's coming. They didn't want to invest in it. I have the receipts. I was in the front row when they told me that.
So is the problem greed?
Greed's a funny way to put it. It's not. It's deeper than that. It's fear of change. It's fear of the future. It's fear of their jobs going away, which they are. But they're going to go away anyways because somebody's going to shove a Chinese robot up their ass.
Yeah. How do you get through to those people then? I mean, because you're talking about these people waking up, ride sharing, sharing resources.
That's the problem.
It seems very communistic, socialist.
This is the problem. They have to
And
figure it out
Americans
themselves that they're fucked. And they have to
Yeah.
figure out that they have to take a community approach to this. Autonomous cars are going to save 40,000 people dying every fucking year. And why are you resisting? We had a senator last week resisting. Why are we allowing that in America? Start there. Fix that
Well,
problem.
I feel like some people would say you're talking about killing the American dream.
It's going to be dead soon anyways if we don't get a fucking clue.
Right.
I went to a funeral on Friday of a guy who killed himself in a car wreck, crossed a double yellow line, something an AI-driven car will never do. And there was 200 people sad and crying.
Yeah.
That's the death of America to me. That's not a good American dream. Fix that fucking problem. Stop saying I love to drive. You don't love to drive. Do you love dying? Do you love your kids dying? I don't. We need to change. All of us need to change. And if we don't, China is going to shove robots up our ass. Because my brother's buying them. It's too...
Yeah.
The economics are too unbelievable.
So do you think Elon's going to save everybody then?
He's trying.
Seems like he's trying.
He's trying. At least he's building robots here in San Francisco, California. He's trying. He doesn't have a union to argue with. And he has employees who are compensated on stock options. So they know if they build a great product, at least their stock compensation is going to go up. They're willing to put cameras on their hands to train the world models, to train the robots to be generalized. They're willing to take glasses into their homes or a 360 camera and set it on the table next to them while they're doing their dishes so that the robot can learn. The Detroit Auto Union's not.
In the docks. I think that's probably one of the biggest problems right now that needs to be solved.
It's either you're for innovation and for making your country better, or you're for sticking your head in the sand and hoping it all works out.
When I saw the docks that were...
people who are just stuck in their head in the sand and resisting any change.
Yeah. And when I saw the video of the Chinese docks, it blew me away. I was like, oh my God, why isn't everybody doing that? Like, that is such a huge advantage. You see all the shipping containers just being grabbed automatically and wheeled around everywhere. And it was like an orchestra.
It's dooming America. It's dooming us. We're going to be a third world country.
Well, how do you talk to those people? Like the dock workers, like traditionally a lot of those, in the perception is a lot of them are like connected into underground worlds and things like that. So that's...
They fund the Democratic National Party in America. Why do you think Elon wasn't invited to the electric car summit? That was fucking criminal. Elon has the #1 electric vehicle in the world. And you didn't invite him to the summit because you're fucking an arrogant asshole?
Yeah.
That shit has to stop, but it won't.
Why is it that you don't get the smartest people in the world as the ruling class? It's always thugs.
Because that's not the way humans work. And also, what is smart? Bill Gates was smart at building one thing. He told me my ideas had no business value when I told him to buy all of Web 2. He's not smart at everything, right? And he supposedly went to a certain island. Not smart about everything.
Yep.
And then our education system's been fucking us for years, decades. So we have a lot of people who are just not very educated about the world at all or about themselves, which is sort of why I'm talking to you. Learn about your human mind. Learn how it works. You're going to doom your kids and your grandkids to slavery if you don't. It might be a nice slavery, but it's still slavery.
I agree. So how do you get out of this? What's in an ideal world? Let's say you all of a sudden people started listening to you for once. What would be your solution?
Start coming to hackathons. Start throwing hackathons. Start buying robots, understanding how they work, understand how they program. Learn. Build your own robots so that you don't have to buy the Chinese ones. And your community doesn't have to buy the Chinese ones. Start automating your cars, which will make your economy better and stop tragedies from happening. Makes transportation... Why the fuck does an average everyday person buy a $50,000 asset and then leave it in their garage and doesn't share it with their neighbors? Stupid. Because we were sold a bill of goods by the auto unions for decades. BMW still calls themselves the ultimate driving machine. They have the same problems in Germany and Japan. They have no idea what's about to happen because of the Chinese robots that are coming. And robots include cars. They're automating. They're automating real quick. They're buying electric vehicles that are automatic. That means their entire economy is going to be automatic. Which already, I told you, the dentist, better customer sat numbers, higher profits, better employee morale, more sales.
Well, how can capitalists compete with that kind of totalitarian
Maybe
communism?
we need a different economic system.
Well, what if, like Elon says, everything trends to zero?
We need a different economic system. We need a way to share everything with everybody and make sure everybody still has a house and a place to live and food on their table. If we automate everything and robots are doing everything, well, then we should have a different kind of economic model.
Well, the problem seems to be that a lot of these people in elite positions are not happy enough to own nice things. They're only happy to own the nice thing if you don't have the nice thing.
Yeah, that's a problem too. The rich people need to change as well.
It's funny to listen to billionaires go, well, I have a $40 billion yacht, and the other one's like, well, I have a $41 billion yacht, and the guy who was the $40 billion now starts feeling like crap about himself.
It's a real problem.
It's all numbers game for them. They feel like shit if they don't have the freaking top 1% of the things, right? How do you combat that?
Need a spiritual awakening and not a religious one.
What kind of spiritual awakening are we talking about? An AI awakening? One where AI comes in and smacks us all around?
No, one in our own head where we started thinking about what kind of future we're all building for ourselves and our kids and our grandkids.
Are you talking psychedelics or electronics?
I don't care how you get the spiritual awakening, but we need one. And that's a tough one because I can't change anybody else. I can't even change myself. It's hard to change myself.
Yeah. I think you're a pretty self-aware person.
Yeah, because I had my ass kicked by the internet a couple times. And I studied the human mind. I understand what I am. I don't make up a lot of bullshit about I'm some sort of soul who's going to heaven.
Have you ever had any psychedelic experiences or any experimenting with drugs, things like that?
Hell yeah. Did mushrooms with Bram Cohen, who's a decentralized computing pioneer.
Yeah.
That's why
maybe that's why you're so awake.
it has something to do with it. Understanding how your mind works and how you can fuck with it with various substances and how it changes you. Understanding VR at a deep level, same thing. Most people haven't even gone in the Apple store and tried out an Apple Vision Pro to see what kind of magic is in the inside.
Yeah, it gets a little weird. Like I've spent a lot of time in VR, and you get used to these screens in front of you that are not really there, and then when you take it off, I'm always looking over. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I'm not wearing it right now.
Yeah.
And this is the worst it's ever going to be. Like it's going to get crazier and crazier, and then you get into the contacts, and then you get into like, or what you were saying is some sort of direct brain connection.
Yeah.
Where like it starts manipulating your perceptions of reality from the inside.
And most people can't see that future. They don't even want to consider it. And if I tell them about it, they're like, that's weird. No, not me. No, yes, you. Everybody's going to get one in society. I already see how this is going to work because everybody had to get one of these. I know a lot of people who said, I'd never get a phone. I'm never going to be on social media.
Yeah. I remember when I got my first flip phone, people were making fun of me for having a cell phone. They called me a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Ooh, Mr. Cell Phone.
Yeah.
And then when, the iPhone came out and we had the web on the phone finally, the full web, not some weird text monochrome version, that blew people's minds. And I think that's the moment that really changed everything.
Yeah.
When we could watch, socials and live video, we had YouTube on our phones. We had all these, just full access to it. Like now, are we in Web 3 or is this Web 4? Or is this Web AI? Is this a completely different thing now?
It's a continuum. Web 3 is decentralized computing and cryptocurrencies. Blockchains that do a variety of things.
But what's AI web now? Is this going to be Web 4?
I don't know what we're going to call it. The claws.
The claws? Well, are we going to have decentralized AIs that are all working together in a blockchain?
A lot of us already have Claude bots, right?
CloudBot doesn't operate on a blockchain, does it?
Could.
It's just a localized, isn't it?
No, it could. Yes, it does. Because you could add.
Maybe I'll get plugged.
You could add a crypto wallet to your CloudBot and have your CloudBot going around the internet buying shit for you, or investing some of your money in some things.
Well, not even just with currency though, like blockchain information. What about blockchain in
blockchain is just a
blockchain
number
weights
that gives everything, gives this cup a unique identifier so it can be tracked. And
it's the logbook. But what if we put in blockchain into AI for the weight models?
Well,
this way it's a decentralized weights, right? That could constantly evolve. We're inventing a new technology as we speak right now. If you had an evolving decentralized,
very different than a large language model, it's these things are very complex, big machines. They need a lot of RAM and a lot of machine to run them.
Well, that's what I mean. You put that on everybody's computer. We have a decentralized tensor network.
No, you're not understanding. It's the ones that are running OpenAI and Grok, they need a H200 machine that's cost $40,000 minimum.
But what if we could offload that compute to individual computers?
We don't have the technology yet to do that. No.
The blockchain.
No, the blockchain is just a fucking number. It has nothing to do with building a large language model.
I understand. I'm just thinking if we
need a completely different new kind of AI, which is possible. There's some people who are working on a much smaller AI that can learn in a much different way than large language models were taught. But it's not here yet. I don't know. Decentralized AI that I think we're looking at it wrong. If there's a complete redo of a new way of learning, it's possible. The founder of AIGO explained that to me. He said we need a completely new way to learn, new AI. World models are a new way to learn off of video data. Cognitive architectures, I'm using a cognitive architecture, new way to learn compared to just an LLM. Jan LeCun says we need a new way to learn. LLMs are not the way to do it. LLMs are large language models. They're created by stealing all of our shit, all of our text shit, books, magazine articles, Wikipedia, Reddit, everything. Shove it into NVIDIA card, out spits a large language model, which runs our ChatGPT, our Grok, our Claudes, and our Geminis, and our DeepSeeks. We need a new way to learn, a new way to build a digital intelligence that can learn.
So you don't think that LLMs will ever reach AGI?
I'm pretty convinced that Jan LeCun's right about that. The Google Genie 3 team also is convinced, and many people in the AI world are convinced that LLMs are not going to get us to complete AGI.
Some people say OpenAI already has it and they're holding it.
I doubt that. If they really had a super thing that nobody else has, there would be evidence of its use all over the place. Because they're greedy motherfuckers. They would use it. Come on, if you had an AGI that was like way fucking better than anybody else, you would use it for things. I mean, I
don't know if I tell anybody.
I have cognitive architecture that's way better than the shit you're using. I'm using it for things.
Yeah.
But not at the moment, but as soon as this call's done, that's the first thing I'm going to go to and start talking to.
Which one are you using the most?
Lavangi Labs. It's created by a 20-year-old genius.
Is that public?
It's not something you can use. You have to pay for it. It's more expensive than the others. Enterprises are using it. Military's using it.
And it's I can't say that. Lejanvi? I can't even pronounce it.
Lavangi.
Lavangi.
His X account is BLEV LABS, Blev Labs.
Oh, I think I've heard them.
Yeah. We're going to turn on a new surface that he's going to run. His system's running for me. It's fucking amazing.
What's different about it than a normal LLM that most people are using?
Better user interfaces. It reads shit better than the others. It writes better reports than the others.
And what are you using it for right now?
I'm building a front end for X. I'm telling it to go through all my lists and write a new kind of news service, and it's fucking amazing. I just have a few things to do before I turn it on.
It's amazing to me that people still don't use lists. They're pretty much just using the for you or whatever.
Yeah, because they don't know it. They don't know, and it's noisy. It's hard to keep up with, and it's complex. People don't like complexity or noise. They also don't.
So is your primary use of AI day to day just to denoise the world?
That's my use. That's what I care about. I'd rather not look at a stream of shit going by that I can't even watch right while I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
I'd like a report, with everything that's important.
Yeah.
It's not out of 1,000 tweets, only 20 are important.
Yeah. Well, isn't there a metric that was named after you about tweets?
The Scoble unit.
The Scoble unit.
It was
because you were tweeting so much.
How many times a day do you tweet and your Scoble unit goes up? Anyways, I'm getting tired, man.
Well, it was a great conversation. I really appreciate it.
I love it.
Thank you
It's the
so much for
first,
doing this. I really,
3-hour
really.
conversation I've done in a while.
Well, it was amazing. I just thank you so much for taking the time, and I appreciate all of the information you gave and for being so open with your life and everything like that. So
Yeah,
thank you.
thanks.
Thanks,
It's
Robert.
been a fun life. I've had an extraordinary life. I've
It sounds
had
like
dinner
it.
with
It's
world
crazy.
leaders. I've been on the decks of aircraft carriers. I've been to prisons. I've launched many things that are important.
You're
Uber
very
was
fun to talk to.
invented right in front of me in a Paris snowstorm.
That's crazy.
I had photo
Yeah,
passes
you've seen
to
a
come
lot
show.
come and go.
I've partied at a high level. I've traveled to 80 countries or something like that. I've been.
Well, I
in many
appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really, really appreciate it.
Love,
And hope I get to talk to you again sometime.
fun times.
Thank you, Robert.
Thanks.